It is the last Friday of Hispanic Heritage Month, and did you know that Latinos stream more than any other population in the U.S.? A driver behind that could be the median age, which is just 30. So why isn't there a place like a museum where we can learn about the imprint and the legacy of the nation's largest ethnic group? Maria Elena Salinas went to D.C. to find out where the battle for a potential museum, a national museum of the American Latino, stands.
When I walk in, you know, the color, the vibrancy, the sounds, it all takes me aback because it's what it means to be Latino. So that's what stands out to me. It's really about learning how far back our history goes in the United States. And I think most people will be shocked to see that we've been here for over 500 years.
How do you tell that part of the story in a museum like this?
It's really about going back to the beginning, to the roots of Latinos in the United States.
From Mexico to the Caribbean to Central and South America, it's a representation of those who helped shape this country and those who were here almost a century before the Pilgrims arrived to Plymouth.
What about some of the immersive aspects of these exhibits? You have several.
Well, the one here, this covers the Pueblo nations in New Mexico, and we're really proud of this. It's, you know, you can feel the figurines, the bread here, and the horno, in the oven. But the great thing is that if you push this button here, you can smell the bread being baked.
It's so good.
The Molina Gallery inside the Smithsonian Museum of American History features a first-of-its-kind multisensory display.
What do you think is the most foundational piece in this exhibit?
It's a tree of life. It's a creation piece, but it has the flora and fauna of all the different countries we come from, right? And then all these little figurines, these clay figurines, which are the stories, the people we're talking about in the exhibition.
Telling stories through generations and the immigrant experience we all share, including this makeshift raft handmade by two refugees who escaped Cuba's dictatorship in economic crisis.
It talks about the urgency, right? The need to leave, to flee.
But also remembering to celebrate our successes and heritage in all aspects of life. Like Somos, a 15-minute video installation about Latino identity by Spanish-Venezuelan-American filmmaker Alberto Ferreras.
And it has 150 portraits that I took with my iPhone because it was in the middle of the pandemic. And I felt like that was the way to capture the faces of the Hispanic community. When I was working on Somos, that was part of the goal. That it was, for some of us, it's gonna be like, oh, of course, I know this. But for a lot of people, it's not, because they don't live next to you. I think it's a mistake to think that the Molina Gallery or the museum at large is just going to be for Latinos. It's for everybody.
And you see a nod to our indigenous roots.
And everybody has a story, including the director of the Latino Museum, Jorge Samanillo, who first visited the Smithsonian back when he was a college student.
I didn't see Latino stories being told, immigrant stories, but I saw the possibilities of how you can use an object, an artifact, to tell a powerful story. And that kind of blew me away. So, you know, I got back to Miami and I switched my major from music to anthropology and archaeology.
Is this a full circle moment for you?
It really is a full circle moment, but I always tell people it's not only about me, it's about finally trying to tell our story.
But this is just a first step on the road to truly celebrating the Hispanic experience, with the long-sought goal of establishing the National Museum of the American Latino on the National Mall, just out of reach.
Well, right now it's crucial for us to get a site selected. We want to make sure that we have a presence here in the National Mall.
And getting that site is an uphill political fight that's been waged on Capitol Hill for years, spearheaded by some who don't just want to showcase the Hispanic American experience, but are living it.
When people say, why do we need a Latino museum? I tell them, because our story is not being told. Latinos are invisible in the United States of America.
The National Museum of the American Latino Act was approved back in December 2020 to start the expansion. Now, the challenge is designating a location that requires a legislative approval, and Representatives Cárdenas and Barragán, both first-generation Mexican-Americans, are leading that battle.
It had been introduced for about 18 years, so it did take some time. But what's most important is we finally took the bull by the horns, and we finally said, ya basta, it's time, and we got it done.
This political climate is a challenge because some people have made immigration, the border, the issue that they want to weaponize and use. to stop any progress. And again, it's why I'm going to continue to say we need more Latinas and Latinos at the table to get it across the finish line.
Do you feel that the obstacles that the Latino Museum has faced are sort of like a symptom of bigger issues that have to do with legislation regarding Latinos?
I think that too many of my colleagues have made it a Latino or anti-Latino issue. So when people think about a Latino museum, they think, well, why are you building a museum for immigrants? This museum is going to talk about the American Latino. And many of us American Latinos are sons and daughters of immigrants.
I'm the daughter of immigrants. Right?
Exactly. So part of your story is their story as well. We have something in common. How many brothers and sisters?
I'm the youngest of 11.
I'm the youngest of 11 as well. And so, you know, there's a lot of beautiful stories that are common and stories that we're going to find out from other people that we probably even know that their story is very different than ours, but they're all beautiful and they're all amazing.
You're going to need more than a +1.
That's right.
And while the fight for finding a permanent home for the Latino Museum continues, so does making sure the Latino story is told in the fullest way possible.
There's so many different aspects to the Latino community and what we bring to the table here in the United States. And a lot of it has to do with culture, with arts, with music, with food, with film. Will that be also an important component of the Latino Museum?
They're so crucial. That's really when you start seeing the commonalities, right? And those things that really stand out, that bring us together. Because I could play right now a piece of Celia Cruz music to you, and even though she's a Cuban singer, it touches so many people, right?
It'll get me moving.
It'll get you moving. You feel the beat immediately. You know when you walk into a party, you know when you walk into somewhere, you know you're Latino.
Let's fast forward to the day when the museum is going to open. How do you envision what you're going to feel when you walk into that museum in Inauguration Day?
I know for me it's going to be feeling proud that we were able to do this, that we were able to persevere, just like our people have for many years, and get something done, and create a legacy.
I envision mariachi somewhere along the lines.
Absolutely, no question about it.
And a lot of amazing food. And just really, I think we're going to see a turnout of not just Latinos.
When you get Cubans together and Dominicans together and Mexicans and Guatemalans and Sudamericanos, etc., all of a sudden you've got a lot of talking and you got a lot of people with a lot of different ways of looking at what the Latino experience is. And I can guarantee you this, there's gonna be a lot of laughter and there's gonna be a lot of joy, but there's gonna be tears of just knowing we finally have our museum.
It's teary-eyed now.
Yes.
I think we're all looking forward to that moment.
It's a labor of love.
A labor of love indeed. Maria Elena, thank you for that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.